Chapter 6, Planning and Prioritizing Activities, Official Hazardous Material Enforcement, Optimum, June 2007. Section 6.1, Purpose. The purpose of chapter is to provide guidance in planning and prioritizing your work. Regional supervisor chiefs are responsible to provide current guidance to their assigned investigator staff for planning and prioritizing regional activities. Section 6.2, the PHMSA Hazmat Enforcement Team, OHME, is small when compared to the very number of hazardous material activities occur in everyday industry. In order to maximize the value of limited resources, OHMS focuses on activity as risk and based and data-driven manner. The objective is to prioritize which is inspected, investigated with avenues, and explored with the regulated intent and need to bring the compliance of the HOM and how HOME reviews the relevant data. One of the OHME primary goals is to provide OHME's primary goal is to improve the quality and availability of the data used and to refocus the resource and companies in posing as greatest risk in transportation safety security. Special OHME conducts extensive reviews and analysis, internal and external data more than ever, using the data and driven program in an effort to improve the process, refocusing, resurfacing activities posing greatest efficient office inspection priorities. Each region OHME targets a serious risk, considers both likelihood and consequences. Some include companies involved in serious incidents and high risk and high consequence in transportation-related activities. Compliances that have been involved in repeated incidentally have more power safety records happen, and companies against with complaints that have been filed. Some of the most valuable external data sources come from your state local partners such as a state fire marshal, state police, state emergency response agencies. Some of these things our supervisors will consider reviewing data, including and are not limited to exposure. How often is a material shipped by the shipping same company? Which is the volume being shipped? Are you many companies engaged in shipping in the same similar hazardous material which concentrated area, especially example gasoline in the community within shipments other occur densely populated? Consequences: will an incident involving a small or moderate quantities of hazardous material be likely to cause injury, death, or damage to the environment, disruption of normal social activities, example explosive poisons, inhalation, or high-activity radioactivity materials? Incident: does a single person carry with a region of high history incidents of abnormally? Is there a trend to pattern in certain types of hazardous material involved in an incident? Compliance history: is there a person or the industry within a region that history of serious non-compliance? A frequent of non-compliance in a less serious nature may be a leading indicator of more serious issues development. Section 6.3, Priority Inspection List. As a priority planning tool, each regional supervisor shall be prepare for a priority inspection list to organize in order of risk, the high hazardous activity being number one. In the list, one will differ from greatly region because the hazardous material industry different in each region, and four lists of 25 top priorities in each four areas of concentration. The priority inspection list will be updated as often as the operations are dictated, but not less than monthly. The tool will be utilized in planning, assessment, and resource and priority activities. Section 6.4, Ordinance of Presidents. The Ordinance of Presidents handling of various types of investigation is set by the OHME management and the OHME National Business Strategy. The prescription of instruction for each category inspection activity is contained in the following paragraphs. The priority accomplishment assignment of the resources shall be as follows. 1. The priority in the category. 1. The accident investigation. 2. The compliant investigation. 3. The fitness inspection. 4. The priority inspection list. 5. The joint inspection activity. 6. The reinspection. And 7. Route inspection. Note: The priority of the activity may be given unusual circumstances. Adjustment to the priority list may be made by OHME management according to the changing of circumstances. Accident investigation. Since OHME does not generally inspect carriers, we do not conduct accident investigations in the use of sense, i.e. first person on scene investigation. We usually become involved after accident in an effort to determine the non-compliance with the HMR contributed to the accident, or if the HMR is deficient and not be addressed. An accident investigated will be assigned by the supervisor. Following the accident investigation, you will be generally need for prepare for the investigation and inspection report. The compliant investigation. The compliance order is received in many forms. You may receive a complaint via telephone, letter, mail, email, or in person when conducting an inspection, investigation, attending meetings, or a seminar. Anyone has the right to file a complaint. The complaint may come from a private citizen, a company, local, state government, federal agency, colleague within the Department of Transportation. Many persons filing a complaint may request anonymity. When receiving a complaint, it must be entered into complaints. When receiving a complaint, it must be entered in the complaints database, the HMIS. The complaint have requested anonymity and places the name entry of Mr. and Mrs. Anonymous. When entering a complaint, it is assigned to the region whether the investigation will take place. The region chief will assign the specific investigator. USB HMISL will send an email with the regional chief where the complaint is assigned. However, it is good practice to make a company compliant. However, it is good practice to make a copy. New Army complaint after they fill the HMIS. The facts in the region response for the complaint. Generally, that you have 6 months of act on complaint when it is assigned to you. However, circumstances you may require a complaint be given more expeditious and handing, and your supervisor advises you that in the case when you receive a complaint, you complete interview compliant to obtain the much information about the complaint as possible. Usually, if you try to answer the who, what, when, where, why, how, and why, you will ask, well, on your way to obtaining the good information, try to obtain means of further contact, telephone number, email address, and assigned investigator can conduct further interview, and if necessary, when you receive a complaint forward, it will be regional handled in the complaint. Fitness and inspection. The fitness inspection are usually conducted on behalf or in conjunction with official hazardous material special permits and approvals. They are conducted by determining the person's ability to comply with a special permit and hold an approval such as cylinder requalification or drum recondition. Requests of fitness inspection are made in the Director of OHPMSA, PHH 30, or Director of OHME, and the Director of OHME assigns the fitness inspection to the appropriate staff member. The priority inspection list. Most activity inspection investigators you are assigned to will originate from a region or program. Priority inspection. A list of entities and activities in rank order, significance, or risk or hazard to the priority listing, or drives the OHME business targeting to the high risk or high hazardous activity. That the list is complied with supervisors after a detailed review of many data sources, providing them with a sound baseline understanding of the hazardous material activities within the region of responsibility. Supervisors consider the compliance history and incident history and type of hazardous shipped, including the high consequences, material volume, hazardous shipping frequency, high exposure, mode of the shipment, and the list updated monthly or more. Take a risk-based, data-driven approach for the enforcement of compliance, therefore maximize the business value as in limited resources. Joint inspection activities. The PHMSA, the OHME, is a multi-module operation specialized exclusively hazardous materials. PHMSA, OME, strategic goal. The OHME leverages a resource HM expertise of fostering partners with the module administration other than federal agencies, state, local authorities. This is accomplished in many ways. One is the participation of multi-agency strike force operation, the MASFOS. Another is the work jointly in with another mode or agency is a mutual interest. Together we can build the concept and share responsibility with our partners, providing training, assistance, and other HM enforcement leveraging our other resources, partners, and insurancing our efforts to further multiplayer Further multiplayer. Well, Forces of Operation MASFO. Another will work jointly on another mode in the agency on responsibility. Agency on areas of mutual interest. By working together, we can build on concept and share responsibility with other opportunities, providing training assistance in the areas of HM enforcement, leveraging and/or resources with other partners, increasing our efforts and forces multiplier enforcement compliances, outreach, and education. OHME has received a valuable, unique training and experience from our partners, and we conduct the joint inspection activities, reinspection, our inspection of cabin and entities previously subject to civil penalty case and ticket. The purpose of the reinspection is to verify the compliance of an entity known that had violated the federal hazardous materials transportation law in the past in order to determine the effective PHMSA hazardous material enforcement program. Unless directed by the management, rising complaint or accident warranty or shorter duration, an entity involved in a civil penalty can cause an eligible for reinspection 1 year later issuances of uncontested final order or uncontested 1 year after the decision of an appeal. An entity involved in the ticket for non-compliance becomes eligible for reinspection 6 months after the ticket action is closed. Routine inspection. In addition, we respond to know the suspected problems, non-compliance, OHME inspection companies involved in the hazardous material transportation routine basis and monitoring their compliance with the HMR. Some inspection you perform, you may fail the category. The key differences are other inspection investigation of the OHME has little or no information, entity or compliance or activity. OHME will make use of other data sources and schedule inspection, packaging, manufacturers, and certifiers, retesters, reconditioners, repairs, rebillers, NVOCCs, and shippers. Section 6.5, preparing inspection investigation. You will want to know in as much as you can the entity of the physical showing up for an inspection or investigation. The HMIS contains the information, registration, special permits, approvals, incidents, prior enforcement history, module portal, and will give you a profile entity. Well, with respect to the model administration, the more that you know any entity, better the chances of conducting their thorough investigation. Regional supervisors will be given an additional source of information for entities in your region. Planning your entry. Your field inspection destination within the region of the program determined the priority list of the region program area. Entry within the highest priority rank that has no action that will often determine your primary location inspection travel for a given week. Often the activity will not take an entire location inspection travel for a given week. Often the activity will not take any entire week. Therefore, in order to maximize the financial allocations, you will find the inspection week within some of the other activities listed below. You select activities in order to precedence listed below. Fill itinerary with the re-inspection route and inspection. We will give and for how long in particular inspection and investigation you will take as you do is more that, but it is also wise to have alternates on your internee list. Unless you are directed in management inspection travel, week is 4 full days of work, 4 full days of inspection and investigation, allowing half a day to travel from area to area you are in the area you are working in. This may also not be always possible. Your supervisor will be guided. Normal travel and entrances are due to supervisor 1 week prior to travel beginning. Travel authorization. One internee is approved and by supervisor. You will need a traveling authorization, trip-by-trip authorization generated by GovTrip, where you will receive training in GovTrip and instructed in how to obtain access. You need a travel authorization any time that you conduct an investigation. Print a copy of travel authorization. Keep it during travel. Travel equipment, you must always read and conduct an inspection prepared. You must have credentials, a current copy of 49 CFR inspection forms related to inspection cylinder retest inspectors and drum observation form and a camera. You supplement the equipment and irregularity material listed above, and depending on the type of investigation you intend to conduct, usually circumstances may be dictated additional equipment, and for those you conducted radioactive materials explosive inspections, the special investigation program manager will assist you in obtaining the right equipment. In Chapter 7.